Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this special Monday night edition of Around the Ropes podcast. Now, guys, we've been talking about it for a while now. It is the start of Dynasty week. And what better way to get things kicked off for the big show on Saturday than the guy who is one of the guys who is responsible for some of the great shots that you see, not only of Dynasty, but now most recently of the NWA. And we'll get into that with him. The legendary photographer from the Capital Region, the one, the only, Jason Zuppardi. Jason, welcome back to the show.
Wow.
How you been, my friend?
Thanks, man. Thanks for the intro. That's fantastic. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, great to see you too. And what better way to you're the opening act for Dynasty Week.
Wow, starting off strong. I mean, I guess I got to be in position so I get everybody else's shots, right? So I got to be.
But before we get into Dynasty, obviously, the big show's coming up this weekend. I want to get into NWA a little bit because the one thing I've been talking about a lot on the podcast is I want to kind of, dive into a lot more with the NWA. I mean, I watched the NWA a lot when they first started with NWA Power a couple years ago, when you had guys like Nick Aldis. He was in the group. It was him, Tom Latimer, and I think Chris Masters was also in that group.
Yeah, you were back then. Yeah, one of the original, right? How long was that? What years was that?
That was probably 2017 when they first started on YouTube, because that was James Storm was there, Eli Drake was still there.
Yeah, right, Eli Drake.
Yeah, and I've been seeing what they've been doing now, and I mean, I'm totally impressed with what they're doing. And to me, NWA, I know on May 17th is set to return to the 2300 Arena for the Crockett Cup, which is one of their most legendary tournaments they've done. They've only done, in the research they've done, I think this is like their fifth or sixth one they've done in the entire history of the NWA.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
So, question I got for you before we get into the team, because I actually have the graphics. How did they pull you into the mix with NWA?
Ooh, that's a good story. Gather around, kids. No, it all started off with Fox Vineyard. Like Fox Vineyard, he knows so many people. He knows everybody. And one day he hit me up and he's like, "Hey, man, I think I have a chance at NWA in Philadelphia." This was last year. And he asked me if I could go, and I was like, "Dude, absolutely!" Jumped in the car with him. Had the opportunity to show Brian Idol what I can do. I mean, he was definitely looking at me. They liked what they saw, and I've been able to, go to every show since.
I mean, obviously, we had you on a while back, and you weren't that big of a wrestling fan growing up. I mean, you watched it, but you weren't like engraved in it. Did you think did you think all those years ago that you would be a part of one of the most, I wouldn't say legendary, but probably one of the original companies in the NWA?
Oh, I had no idea. I mean, no clue that wrestling is where I would end up. A couple years ago, I was doing, weddings, into baseball, football, into everything in between, MMA, and then pro wrestling, and like all of those, and concerts as well. Those are my mains. And then like all of those kind of led me to wrestling in a way. I got to learn how to be creative in those other environments. And then once I got to pro wrestling, I got to be creative with creative people. And it's just so much fun.
Well, now, I mean, I've had the ability to go to a couple of NWA shows out here on Long Island, and I love them. They're such a different deal. Such a different deal. And I mean, one thing I love with the NWA is they bring back the old school way of wrestling.
Right.
You don't have the elaborate sets like you do with WWE and AEW. It's a simple set. You have it's like I said, it's the old school way. And that's one thing I feel like wrestling is missing now. When you're backstage and you're talking to a lot of these wrestlers, and a lot of these guys are former WWE stars, they have been on the biggest stages of all. Do you sit there as a fan and like kind of look at yourself and go, "Holy crap"?
I do, but I only give myself about 5 seconds to do that real quick, and it's like shake it off. All right, get to work and do the stuff, and then I get to see them and meet them on the other side of that too. They but it's the whole journey. Getting to work with these athletes and stars is a dream come true. It's absolutely amazing. I learn from them. They learn from it's fascinating to see what happens behind the
Oh,
scenes.
I believe me, I totally get it. But now, when going back to, you said your first show was the one they did in Philly last
Mhm,
summer.
mhm.
Obviously, we all know that's a legendary building, the 2300 Arena. One of the
Yep.
not the it's one of the most legendary buildings that
Hmm.
still holds pro wrestling. Was that your first time in that building last summer?
Yes. Yes, that was my first time ever in that building. Yeah. I had to ask people where the mural was.
That was the first, I remember the first time I went there. I went there for Icons, which was a convention that was run by Timothy Embler, who owns Battleground. And I went, and the guy I went with, he goes, "Come here, I gotta show you something." I'm like, "Okay." And that was the first thing he did before anything else. Took me to that mural.
Yep. Yeah, you gotta check it out. It's legendary. It's pretty cool to see it live for sure.
Now I know you were saying before, you do the 5 seconds and then it's time to get to work. When you first walked into that building, did you feel like, okay, you're walking on hollow grounds?
Yeah, it definitely was like a lot of just walking around and kind of hearing the echoes. You know what I mean? A little bit. It's pretty neat. But it really doesn't take long. I kind of I switch gears and usually get right to work. But I do take a moment to walk around the building. Usually when I get to new venues and stuff too, I walk around, check it out, like get a feel for it.
No,
But that venue, definitely you can feel in every corner, backstage, everywhere.
I've had the luxury of being in that building a couple of times for Battleground. And the same thing. First time I walked in there, I was like, I'm walking on the hollow grounds. Then I think by the fourth or fifth time, I'm like, okay, it's no different than any other building.
Right? Maybe. Yeah, it's still
To
pretty
me,
new to me. I like it.
I trust me, I get it. To me, it's like, okay, it's wrestling, but being at this tournament is so legendary. How big do you think it is, being that this tournament is as legendary as we talked about it, but it's in such a legendary building like the 2300 Arena?
I mean, dude, it's just like, how do you top last year, right? And like this, with all of the announcements that they've already made, like, are they keeping any secrets? Like everything that they're announcing so far is like some holy shit. Like really? Like like everything. So, uh, I have no idea what they could possibly even have in store. So.
Well, we do have some of the. Well, let's go to some of the teams, because obviously people who are watchers who keep hearing us refer to the Crockett Cup, they may be sitting there going, "Well, what is that?" Basically, for the people who are watching who may not know what the Crockett Cup is, it's a legendary tournament that Jim Crockett, the original owner of the NWA, held for tag team wrestling. If you go back in the history books, a lot of the teams that have won it include the Briscoes, Sting and Lex
Mm,
Luger. I mean, I'm talking names.
right.
And obviously, we have some of them. We have some names here now. A lot of them are NWA teams, but the let's before we get into the teams, I know there's gonna be two people showing up for the autograph session. One of them I actually do have the graphic for right here, and that's former TNA superstar, former WWE superstar, the one and only Gail Kim will be there. According to this, it just says for autographs. So could that change throughout the night? Who knows?
Could it change? Yes, it absolutely could change, right?
I know the other one, I didn't grab the graphic for this one. I know the other one is legendary referee Earl Hebner will be there.
Yep. Yep. They just announced that one. That's pretty cool.
And then originally they announced that a WWE superstar was going to be there. And we didn't know at first what their role was going to be. And then we got the official announcement.
Yeah, because originally she was going to be there for an autograph signing when they first announced her.
Okay, when you heard that NWA is working with WWE, was that one of those holy shit, or was that like this can't be real?
A little of both, really. It was like it's. I was trying to think of the last times that there have been overlap, and like, well, I mean, how long has it ever been an
No,
NWA and WWE on the same poster? Like,
I if it did, it would have been probably the 80s.
right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
Right. So we have that now. We now have that officially there, and we're in a legendary arena. So you're bringing in um, WWE superstars from back in the day at a legendary place. Like it really does seem like it's the new era of NWA is really like focusing on the old school stuff. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
that, that's
The
one thing I
classic.
like though, and
Hmm.
I think having somebody like Natalia there only adds to the excitement
Oh, for sure.
because you would have had somebody like Natalia there, they would have been in a regular building. I don't think I would have had that same feeling. But you're talking about a legendary event in a legendary building
Hmm.
with arguably somebody who you can make the argument of is a part of one of the most legendary families in the Hearts.
Right. 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 It's in the conversation for sure.
I mean, I want it with that match. Actually, I want to go back a little bit because obviously we saw they had their first interaction at Bloodsport WrestleMania weekend,
Mhm. Yeah. Yep.
and I saw it. I was like, "Oh, this is good. This is going to be good."
Oh, as soon as you saw her, Kenzie Page just give the double birds. I mean, that's her. That's 100% her, and it was on. It was amazing. I couldn't believe it.
Well, now, do you think obviously you've seen Kenzie Page before wrestle? Do you think because you can say this is her toughest opponent in Natalia, she would almost have to wrestle uh, damn near a perfect match, almost?
I mean, how could you not bring your best?
Yeah.
You know, and Kenzie Page really is the best. You watch her wrestle; she's got very, very. Does she have any holes? Like she hits the Kenzie cutter on you, it's a wrap.
Well, I
You
mean,
know, she gets
she
it.
was not to get up, but I think if I remember correctly, she was at the last Dynasty show.
That was Kylie.
Kylie, okay, that was Kylie.
Yep. Kylie, the younger sister, also just as dangerous. Like while you're focused on one, you're going to get hit by the other sister. Like it, do not blink
No,
with those two around.
no, and but I think you got that match. You would figure, okay, that should top it all, but no,
Mm.
no, they had to top it with the men. And what bigger name to bring in than ECW legend Rhino to take on Tom Latimer for the 10 pound? I mean, just the fact alone that we're talking Rhino
Unbelievable.
wrestling in 2025.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Did you see the promos when he got the slime balls? He gored
Mm-hmm.
them. Oh man, and he stared down Tom Latimer. It was insane. I mean, I was luckily enough to be there live for that moment. Goosebumps. Like the lights cut down. Tom's up on the belt. The lights cut off. Oh, who is it? You know what I mean? And then, like you weren't expecting it. The show was over. Of course, it was
No.
great. Amazing,
And
amazing.
you think of Rhino, that's ECW. He's as much of ECW as the Dudleys were, as who else? Francine. So the fact that you can bring somebody in who was a part of the original ECW run
Hmm.
for this event to go for a title, let's be honest. When you mentioned some of the names who have held that belt, or not even held it, who have challenged for that belt.
Right.
I mean, you got Dusty Rhodes has challenged for that belt. Ric Flair has held that belt before. Harley Race has, I think, challenged for and held that belt before.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like the legends, all the legends.
Those are three guys right
Our
there.
some of the more recent ones, our Truth has held that belt, right? People
Yeah,
kind of forget that little nugget, right? Cody Rhodes has held the belt.
yeah.
Yep, same belt.
It's Nick Aldis, current SmackDown general manager.
I mean, how? Let's get recent. You know what I mean? Let's go right through it. Yeah, absolutely. Right up to EC3 and Tyrus and
Yeah,
like all of
I
them.
mean, I mean, I remember when Nick held that belt, and we're going to talk about it in a second here because they're, it's currently your tag team champions with Mike Knox and Trevor Murdoch. One of the most famous rivalries I remember they had in the early days of NWA Power was Trevor Murdoch versus Nick Aldis.
Yeah.
Because people were comparing to it. I'm going back pre-pandemic, so I'm going back maybe 2018.
Right.
When they started it.
Mm-hmm.
And they were comparing that to, they were saying it's the modern day Dusty Flair.
Mm. Yeah, Trevor Murdoch is no joke. And have you seen him recently? Like, he's slimmed up. He is a threat. Like, he's lighter. He's bouncing around. Like, he's tough.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
They're number one seeds for a reason, dude. They don't mess around.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Let's get started here with the Southern Six, as we got. They won the Crockett Cup last year. That's Kerry Morton is on the one side. I don't know who the other guy is.
Yep, Too Hot to Trot.
Yes.
Alex Taylor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Taylor.
Hold on, because we do got a comment coming in from the comment section. Speaking about Mr. Nick Aldis, and this person will actually be on with me tomorrow night. Hey guys, Nick Aldis is currently covering as the Raw General Manager for Adam Pearce right this moment. Both are former. I forgot. Adam Pearce.
Yep. Billy knows his stuff.
And she'll be on tomorrow night with me and Jeff for Black
awesome.
Rose.
Awesome. That's going to be a good good interview. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, we'll get into that in a second here, but I want to get to some of the other. Hold on. I don't know why her comment is. We also have, obviously, talking about
there they are.
tag champs. Now, I remember watching Mike Knox in WWE. He had a brief run in WWE. Yeah. Trevor Murdoch, like I said, I just remember his feud he had with Nick Aldis for that title.
Yes. I mean, have you seen those guys? They're both like 7.5 feet tall. Like, those are some large humans. But they move like they're little guys. They're scary.
I'll put it this way: when you think of tag team wrestling and you think of NWA, you just think of these two guys right here.
They're brute strength. Like, they're hard to beat. I don't think who's going to beat them. They're, like I said, they're number one seed for a reason.
Yeah, no, I completely. Next, we got here a team that I have a lot of rooted interest in because I've spoken to them plenty of times now, and that's the Slime Balls with Carson Drake.
Yeah, no, my favorite. The Slime Balls are my favorite. I love those guys, man.
Yeah, they are. But the funny thing is, they cut their teeth. I mean, you want to talk about guys who cut their teeth on the independent scene. Look at the Slime Balls.
Oh, yeah.
They cut their teeth big time, especially in the Northeast.
Yeah, no, they're the guys. They're from Slimeball City. Yes. I'm not sure what part of the Northeast that is at, but I heard a rumor that it ain't pretty. Is that true?
I've heard that rumor too.
It's probably true if you've heard it.
Next thing we got here, this team, I would not want to mess with this team.
Blunt Force Trauma with Aaron Stevens. What?
Now, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong. I think these guys are trained in Jazz's school down in Texas, if I remember correctly. But
yeah, I know she's got a pretty good big school down there.
Yeah. Yep. And then we got, obviously, we mentioned before about Latimer and Rhino. And then here's an interest. This one's an interesting team.
Right.
I will say that much. This one's an interesting team here. Obviously, you got EC3 in the middle. You got Pretty Boy.
Smooth.
What's his name? Pretty Boy Smith. Smooth on the, which would be my. The other guy, I'm not sure who he is. I'm going to be completely honest. Oh, Pastor.
Yeah, it's right there. It's really small. I gotta let me see too.
Yeah, it's. But now, obviously you've seen a lot of these guys wrestle. Take out Murdoch and what's his face, Knox here for a second. Of the teams I
Okay.
mentioned there, what team do you think? And if you're watching us and you'd like to add to this, go right ahead. You definitely can. What team do you think has the potential to dethrone the
Oh,
champs? If there is a team.
just from those that you
Yeah,
showed.
yeah. Well, those are the only.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know if there's gonna if they've announced others, but as of right now, those are the only ones that have been announced.
true. Yeah, definitely got to be a lot more announced soon. Man, of those three, that's tough, man, because Kerry Morton and Too Hot, they're just old school and tricky. You got the slime balls that could just do anything at any time. With Carson there, unpredictable. I mean, dude, anything could happen. Like I can't bet on that. How could you bet on that?
No, hold on.
I bet the
That's what makes
fans
wrestling
the
so much
fans
fun.
win. The
That's what
fans
makes
would
wrestling
win on
so much.
that one for sure. Man, I would have to go
But
slime balls. I think I feel like they would figure it out.
well, I just figure slime balls have been at it long enough, and that they're kind of my pick. Obviously, we'll know more of the teams coming up in the weeks to come. I mean, we are
Mm,
only, I think, 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out from the show.
yep.
So it's going to
Yeah.
be, but you know, when you talk NWA, and I still think the guy, he's still talking now, we got to talk about the fireworks himself, Fox Finger.
Fox Vanier. Oh yeah, my dude.
And
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, he's gonna be there.
yes, and I give him a lot of credit though. He's on the big stage of the
Yeah,
NWA.
dude's in the Crockett Cup. That's freaking legendary, man.
Yeah. And then I know the other one, and we're going to make the transition here right now. The other one they just announced was Wrecking Ball.
Yep. Yeah. Wrecking Ball got the green light. He figured it's great. He's a force to be reckoned with too. Imagine they
As
put those two together.
Yeah, that's
Hmm?
all we need is potentially them to win. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, they win it, the whole thing.
Right. Right.
Fox will just keep talking about it.
Yeah. Unbeatable. No, they were a tag team actually. They are pretty recently at an NWA event in was it Long Island? Long Island recently.
They were definitely,
Yeah.
like I said, as much as I crap on Fox, like I said, I got to give the dude a lot of credit to be on a
No, he's great.
stage,
I love him.
but to be on a stage like the NWA in a venue like that building,
Hmm.
to me,
Yep.
it's like you can't beat it. You cannot beat it at all. But we talked about Fox, we talked about Wrecking Ball.
Mm.
Let's get into what's happening this Saturday.
Oh, snap. Yeah, it's coming up.
Diamonds Are Forever, back at Empire Live. We don't know a lot of the
Yep.
matches as of now. Obviously, if you know Chris Envy, he tends to not put out a lot of matches until the day of. But we do know the main event.
Yeah.
And the main event is something that I know this show, Around the Ropes podcast, has been looking forward to for since the Battle of Altamont last year. And that's
Right.
Black Rose finally gets his hands on Johan.
Finally, it's way overdue. Way, way overdue.
After all these months of, Johan played off of, I'm going after Dante or, Jeff. And nothing against Jeff or Dante.
Right.
But I think Black Rose is just finally at the point now of, yeah.
No, Black Rose has been wanting the title from the jump. He thought he earned it at Altamont and everything. Like he thought he deserved it, and rightly so. Like I agree with him. I think he should have had a chance to get his hands on that a long time ago.
I
I
think the
don't know if
best.
Johan's scared. I don't know if Johan's busy traveling around with the belt.
Well, I know
You know,
we had Black Rose on before the last show, and I made the point to him. I said, "Look, I said, could it be something simple as Johan is afraid?" I'm just saying. I mean, you don't go this long being the number one contender, and the champion continues to evade you without the champion kind of coming off being a little afraid?
I don't know. I think it was. I don't know because I would like to counter that because I do agree with you, but I want to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
What if Johan was looking past Black Rose as though he wasn't an issue and wasn't anything until recently, right? Because now Black Rose got his attention.
Well, I agree, but if he didn't meet, if it didn't bother him that much, if it didn't bother Johan that much, then why wouldn't he have taken care of him months ago?
Right. Maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe he might have looked past him, so he was going to take over, the a little bit deeper in the card, the Jeff Novas, and he took his chances at easier matches because he's the champ. He gets to call the shots. But he
Yeah.
did travel around. He did take the belt international, and I
Yes.
didn't get to see all the footage of all of his matches. But should we assume that they were very tough opponents? And maybe he thinks when he comes back to Dynasty, he gets to take a break with the easier opponents, maybe. And that's why he doesn't want Black Rose, or is he looking past Black Rose, maybe? And that
I don't
would
know.
piss me off too. So I could see exactly why Black Rose is furious because I'd be furious too.
I mean, I'll put it this way. To me, if I'm Black Rose and I'm told, okay, I'm the number one contender back in August, that I'm the number one contender,
Mm.
okay, October, the Hall of Fame show, be like, okay, that would have been the moment right there. All the eyes of upstate New York are pay attention to Hall of Fame. Do it right there. Nope, he goes after Jeff Nova. Okay, fine. Obviously, we know there wasn't a show in December. Next show comes up. Okay, it's announced that Johan's going after Dante. If I'm Black Rose, I'm sitting there and go, wait a second. I'm the number one contender. Why are all these guys jumping the line when I'm the first in line? And not only that, I mean, I had guys on the show in the past, guys like Sergeant Fury, Fox Vineyard,
Mm-hmm.
who every time I bring up Johan as the champion,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you can see people. Now, I don't know if it's they don't like the fact that he hasn't really defended the belt on the Dynasty turf. And I call it Dynasty turf because, let's be honest, Empire Live to me is
Mm-hmm.
Dynasty Arena.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, that's home turf.
So to me, I think a lot of them look at it as he's defended it everywhere else,
Mm-hmm.
but not on the place where he won it, if that makes sense.
No, that's true. But let me counter you with this.
Mhm.
The two names that you mentioned who Johan did fight, um, Jeff Nova, he beat Nova so badly that his girlfriend had to throw the towel in. So that was a champion flex right there, right?
Yeah,
And then who was the next one?
Dante.
Dante, right? I'm joking. Of course it was Dante. No, but he got Dante gave him respect because that was a good match.
Yeah.
He came close. It was a very strong back and forth, and Dante got it at the end until Black Rose came in and got
And that's the
involved and messed up the whole thing and made his point well known.
but that's the other thing also we're forgetting here. There were those three masked guys who came in also.
Yep,
We don't know who they are.
that's true. Yeah, we still don't know any idea.
We have no idea who they
'Cause-
are. And
Yep.
the problem, my other thing is this, so with Johan, and I remember I said this last year when Jeff made his debut. When he made his debut at It Was All a Dream. I think it was his first show with Dynasty. And I said it, we had Chris Envy on. And I said to him, I said, if Jeff is able to get a few wins under his belt, could you see him going after one of the bigger titles? And Chris was like, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But now I don't know if that was, going that route. I don't know if that helped Johan or that would have done more harm to him. And I say it for this reason. Because when I go back to before, it's the inevitable. He knows if he gets into the ring with Black Rose one-on-one, it's not going to be a cakewalk.
Oh, it's definitely not. I mean, look at who Black Rose has been fighting and beating up lately. You know what I mean? Everybody. Like,
And we don't know also, the thing also you have to realize, you go into that. Obviously, we found out at the last show, Fox Vineyard is in line for a title shot down the road. So,
mhm.
Fox is going to have his eyes on this one. And we know
Yeah, why
Fox
wouldn't
has, yeah, we know Fox has his buddies or cronies, whatever you want to call it, in
he?
HBO
Right.
and Jimmy Limit.
Mm.
Oh, they're gonna play it. This is why I think this main event, I think, is bigger than the last one, where it was the title for title.
Right.
Because this one could, you have so many possibilities with this one, where it's like, okay, do you go the route of Black Rose wins clean? Do you have the route of Fox comes in and also becomes a triple threat match?
Right.
That's the other
Right.
part we're getting here.
Right. Does
And also,
Fox want a title shot? Is that what he wants? Because his motivation is just to kind of cross everybody off his list, right?
well, I think that was the whole thing with him with Chris.
Right.
Was, if you remember,
Was it?
he had the match at the last show where he faced, oh, I'm drawing a blank on who he faced. And I think the stipulation was if he won, he would get a title shot. And that was right before the pile driver, the Chris Envy.
Mm.
And that's the other thing also we're also forgetting. What role does Mav have in any of this?
Yeah, he just gets front row to his dad's getting his ass kicked. I think
Not,
that's his
not
role
only
right
that,
now.
but as we've seen the last year, Mav has kind of come in. I mean, he was on our show and he even said it, that he wanted to defend his dad's honor because of what Fox did. Chris didn't want him to
Mm.
because we know Mav is not fully trained yet.
Right.
With emotions running that high, who knows what the hell's going to happen in that main
Who knows?
event.
Yeah.
But not only that, we also have the women's title will be crowned.
Yeah, the first ever women's champ, Diamond champ. It's going to be, I mean, are we going to have a new champ? Right? Are we going to have, I mean, we're going to have a brand new champ in the women's champ. Are we going
Yeah,
to have a brand new men's champ too? Is it going to be like a whole new champion night?
I don't know.
Or is, you know what I mean? So,
Well, here's my question to you, though.
man,
Obviously, we know some of the people who are going to be there. Obviously, we know Kelly Madden's going to be there, Tina San Antonio, Tiara
yep.
James.
Hmm.
Do you think if you had the pencil for
Hmm.
this one, do you put the
Right.
pencil on one of them where you don't know if you're going to get them back every show? Or do you put the belt on somebody like a Layla James or somebody like Taylor One Shot, who will be there every show, who I'm gonna say it right now, and there's gonna be people who are gonna hate for what I'm about to say, but I think Taylor has carried that women's division big time in the last year.
That's quite the bold statement, John. I think Taylor would like you saying that.
I, I
You
mean,
know?
I look at it this way. When you look at what happened in that women's division, I know everybody
Hmm.
hated Taylor, but the whole storyline with her, with the board, as far as who attacked her at the show
Mm.
last year, kept it so interesting, even outside of the Dynasty ring.
Right. Hmm.
And I don't think we ever even found out who exactly attacked her.
I don't
But
think
you
we
don't
did. I
think,
think the conspiracy theory's still out there.
but it made things interesting. Though it made the fans emotionally invested, which was a
Yep.
big thing. And to me, if you want to make this women's division big and mean something, and this isn't me trying to shoot down, people like Kelly and people like Tina. I'm not
Hmm.
trying to downgrade them. But because, like, take somebody like Kelly Madden, for example. She does a lot of extra work for WWA.
Hmm.
Who is to say she has to be available? Let's say you put the belt on her. Who says she has to be available the next 3 shows? And to me, if you want the champion to especially if it's the first ever champion for the company, you
Mhm.
want them there as often as you can to build up credibility.
For sure. Yep.
Where you don't have, you don't have the weekly show. You don't have like, you know, Dynasty SmackDown or something like that, where it's like the weekly show where that can be your opportunity to build up. It's social media and it's them being there. And the problem is, if you put on somebody who's not going to be there that often, is that going to do more harm to the belt than put it
No,
on
I don't
someone
think
who,
that would be. I don't think that'd be too much of an issue because the girls. I mean, all the wrestlers, not just the girls, but all the wrestlers who come to Dynasty to wrestle, they love it.
yeah,
It's a family environment. It's not just the family backstage, but even the fans, big family vibe. Like the fans are wild. The
oh,
Dynasty fans are absolutely bonkers, man. So like when Tina San Antonio comes out and she feels that, when Kelly comes out and they feel that, they want to come back.
yeah,
So if you ask me, I'm going to assume that they're going to choose Dynasty over WWE every time because of our fans, because of you, and because of all of us.
yeah. I mean, we try to. I mean, that's the one thing. I mean, I've gone to enough independent shows now, and I've been doing this now. This November will be 4 years now doing this podcast,
Dang.
and I've had a lot of promotions that I've covered that have gone away. I mean, there was at one point we were covering like 12 or 14 companies at the same time.
Wow.
Now I've limited
Busy,
to
busy.
two companies:
Right on.
Dynasty and Bree
Yep.
Combination down in Jersey. Those are the only
Boom.
two I would cover.
Nice. You went out scouted and we made the cut.
No, because also I look at it this way: Dynasty, I feel much more at home. Like I said it coming into the last show, after everything happened at the end of 2024 with me, and I walked into that building, I was home.
Oh yeah.
I was
Yeah,
back
absolutely.
home. I didn't feel out of place. I didn't feel like, oh, I'm an outsider. No. When I walked in and Chris had his first joke on me, I was like, yeah, I'm back home.
Yep. Yeah. You get the vibe while the show's going on with all the fans. Like it doesn't take long. You can see the fans just all melting into one big group. It's great, you
And
know?
also, I mean, I got one more thing to bring up about Dynasty. Then I got one last question to wrap before we wrap everything up. We're also
Mhm.
forgetting Grandma's gonna be there.
I can't believe he let the cat out of the bag on that one. Ooh. I
Hey, don't let
mean, you can that might be the hidden message in Diamonds Are Forever. I don't know. You know how Envy
yeah,
likes to hide his messages with his titles? I mean, I love trying to figure it out. I never see it. He's
I got
always
it.
catches
I
me
got
off
it,
guard.
guys. The winner of the
What is it?
Diamond Division Championship, Grandma. You heard it here first.
Yeah, that's your prediction. I like it.
But one
It's a
last question I
solid
got
bet.
before we wrap things up here. Obviously, you've been a part of the NWA now for a while. You've been part of Dynasty
Mhm.
now for some time. Is there truly a difference? Now, obviously, I know this. I've been backstage at Dynasty. I've seen what it's like backstage. But for somebody who may not have that opportunity, is there a difference backstage with like a company like Dynasty compared to NWA?
Not a lot between those two specifically. There's not a
Well,
lot of the different vibe. I mean, it's very similar vibe. To be fair, a big chunk of Dynasty seems to be NWA lately. So it's
well,
I don't
it's
know
like,
who's influencing who, right? But it does seem to be quite the same vibe for sure.
hey, maybe with the fact of all the NWA guys coming to Dynasty, maybe Dynasty can defend the title on the NWA show. Who knows? Just saying.
Ooh, who can see that, right? Having the belt on the apron during an NWA match. Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
I'm just saying. You never know.
Hey, if WWE's there, I'm
Hey,
saying anything can happen.
hey, who knows? It's gonna be a lot of fun. But I already got did have some comments coming here, so let me just pull up some of these comments here before we wrap things up here. Shamika turns around and goes, confused me for a minute. She goes, I was like, it's not Tuesday. Yeah, Shamika, I get it. Trust me, I get it. With Dynasty Week, it's the entire week worth of stuff. So figure let's start off with Jason. Obviously, we will be live tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's the dawn of the Odyssey era for us. As tomorrow's show will be our first show that will be nationally syndicated on Odyssey come Saturday, right before Diamonds Are Forever.
So this is the last show I could say fuck? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
Sweet. Nailed it.
And then coming up tomorrow night, obviously we mentioned it before, I'll be here. Jeff will be here. Obviously, you guys know who Jeff is. He was a fan from Immortal. Actually became a fan of Dynasty after the last show.
Sweet.
So he'll be on with us tomorrow. Obviously, we mentioned before, your friend and our friend Billy will be back on with us. Spencer Slade will be on with us.
Dude, that's huge. Spencer Slade, he's amazing.
And at 9:15, one half of your main event from Saturday's show, Black Rose will be on. I'm just going to tell you guys right now, when Black Rose is on, he tends to speak his mind.
Yeah, how can he's not gonna be nice. He's got to be amped up by now, right? Like he's got to be fired up. It's go time.
I get it, but the one thing I told him, I mean, this is I think the fourth or fifth time we've had him on. I always tell him, I go, look, floor is yours.
Oh yeah.
But he will be on with us at 9:15. Hopefully, going to have a few more surprises throughout the week. Because, guys, again, where this all leads to is this coming Saturday, the Dynasty returns to Empire Live for Diamonds Are Forever, the all-women show, where, as we mentioned in the main event, Johan Nahara takes on Black Rose for the Dynasty World Heavyweight title. We're also going to crown the first, well, not we, because I'm not backstage like that, but Dynasty will also be crowning their first women's champion. Who knows who that's going to be?
We are Dynasty,
yes,
John.
We are
Dynasty.
Yes,
yep.
we are.
So we are crowning our champion.
Yes. And there's going to be plenty of other stuff. Obviously, Around the Ropes podcast will be live beforehand to get you guys ready for all the action, because we will be doing a live show from Empire Live, as always, with possible some guests. Not sure yet.
Ooh.
Yes.
I'll have to hunt down where your desk is at.
Yes, Rado, we are the Dynasty.
The Dynasty.
But guys, like I said, I'm glad the Dynasty Week is off with a bang. Again, guys, tomorrow night we'll be back live here, 8 p.m. Eastern. Not only will we get you guys ready for the Dynasty show coming up this Saturday, but we're also going to talk about The Rock's comments that he had on Pat McAfee's show last week, which caused a lot of interesting stuff, and a story that I found about a couple who just got married, and supposedly the wife is not happy with the husband because the husband is overly obsessed with pro wrestling. What am I talking about? You guys have to find out tomorrow, guys. Again, catch Around the Rose podcast live tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. It is the dawn of a new era. We are going to be on Odyssey. Jason, before we wrap things up, where can the fans connect with you on social media, and anything else you want to promote, go right ahead.
Jason Zuppardi on Facebook and Instagram. Zuppardi Photography on Instagram. That's about it. Just see me around. Say hello.
And guys, couldn't have said it better. Again, guys, for one of the most legendary photographers in the capital region.
Oh, man.
I'm John. This has been Around the Ropes podcast. We'll catch you guys tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. But until then, stay classy.